Good evening and welcome to episode 9 of WOSFL Weekly. We're nearly at double figures, absolutely buzzing. Number 9 going to be in the books after tonight. I'm your host, Jonny Baillie. Absolutely delighted to be joined by Ardeer manager Sean Kenney. Sean, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's been a nice weekend, so everything's going well.
I think my first couple of guests I had when I started up the show, they'd been beat the weekend before and I was starting to get a bit of complex, but you guys cruised it yesterday, so happy days. Just a reminder for everybody that's watching, you can interact with us on YouTube if you're watching live, and this will be available to rewatch on YouTube and also available on audio form and all good podcast networks. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the Pyramid Promotions channel, loads of great content there from all levels of Scottish football. And if you would be willing to help us out a wee bit and support the channel, there is membership options available as well. Finally, we are delighted to be sponsored by Roxburgh Insurance Brokers. If you're needing any insurance dealings taken care of, then make sure you get in touch with Roxburgh. And VSN Sport are kind sponsors as well. So if you're looking for some bespoke teamwear for your club, get in touch with Gary. His details are at the bottom of the screen. Okay, just touch on last week. Again, apologies last week for the kind of technical difficulties we had. I was absolutely gutted about last week, to be fair. I don't know if you caught it, Sean. I'm sure you watch every episode. Just nod, it's fine. And I was absolutely gutted by it, but I was delighted to see so many people still watching it. So fingers crossed. My house is still a building site, but fingers crossed we don't have any such issues tonight. Okay, Sean, we'll get stuck in. We'll start the pod probably on a wee bit of a somber note. I know this doesn't cover the West, but I think it merited covering. I just want to, and I'm sure you're the same, just offer condolences to everybody connected with soccer player Brian Morgan, who passed away aged 35 after a cardiac arrest. Really, really sad news, Sean. Again, we say there's always things that pop up that put football into perspective, but it's incredibly sad, isn't it, especially at such a young age?
Aye, definitely. It's horrible news when I see it also on Twitter. Your heart breaks for the family and all the friends, and it's bigger than football, but obviously, so nothing else actually matters. It's just such a shame.
And it just, I think you know, and I'm sure loads of people watching know as well, that when you're in a dressing room with people, you create this bond. It's a kind of strange bond, a dressing room. I find it quite difficult to explain to some people because you see people for years, 3 times a week, sometimes more if you're full time, and then you drift away. And some people will keep in touch, some people won't. But see, when you're together, there's a bond that I can't explain it to anybody else. But maybe you do get it at other sports, but football's special that way, isn't it?
100%. And as you say, you always say this thing. I will always talk all the time, say what we usually do, but you don't. But when you do come back together, it just sort of, you just click back in just quite quickly. It's strange, and that loss will be felt by a lot of people through there.
Yeah, absolutely. So sincere condolences from me, Sean, everybody connected with Pyramid Promotions, to family, friends of Brian Morgan, who passed away aged 35. Okay, as we said, it doesn't really matter, but we'll get stuck into the football stuff. PG broke a wee bit of news on reconstruction. It seems to be bouncing all over the place now. I think the latest proposals, I don't know if you had any, you can tell us any scoops for the West meeting that happened during the week there, Sean, but apparently it's going to get pushed back to 26, 27, which makes a lot more sense because it allows teams to get plans in place for licenses and stuff like that.
Aye, I think that's what I've been told as well. I think there was talk of quite a lot more promotions as well. I don't know if something, maybe 8 or something like that to go up.
Aye, that was the shout. The shout was 2 from the south and 8 from the west, was what PG had heard.
So I kind of see when things like this are going on, it's probably not going to help this, what I'm here for, but see when it changing all the time and things like that, just let me know what you've decided and then we'll deal with it from there.
I know, and I think the one thing I would say is I think it's obviously there were still proposals going out that were trying to get pushed through for next season. You need to know you need to know what you can do and what you can achieve, because we couldn't have been going into the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season with teams not knowing whether they're going to get promoted or relegated, and Clydebank have got a potential playoff to prepare for or not prepare for. So I think it's important that we get some clarity pretty quickly. Do you not agree?
100%, and it's even, I know it's a sort of lesser scale in the way the pyramid works. Obviously, there's a chance that folk can get promoted just now and things like that, and you just, you wait to see how things go. It's no ideal, but you need to know what you're playing for. You need to know what you're aiming towards, because it's one of the ones. At the end of the season, you might say, "Oh well, what? See if you actually did just tune in for." And I know you're meant to do that every game, but it's human nature. We've all played end of season games when you go, you know what, this is. Get this out of the way so I can go on holiday. Whereas if you're playing for something and you're playing for something, then also the focus is different. And that's, whether it's right or wrong, it just is. So we need to know what we're actually doing here.
Aye, well, hopefully we'll find out soon. But I think it sounds pretty similar to the first proposal that was put through with the Lowland League taking control and keeping that structure with Lowland League West and East. But we'll see. But fingers crossed. I'm sure if you follow PG on Twitter or the Saturday Football Live, he'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on. Okay, so with the cup final this afternoon, Sean, you weren't at it, were you?
No, I was watching my brother-in-law's Sunday team, Cutwell United. They won a semi-final, so I was watching them.
Right, okay, so the big one, you were watching the big one then?
That's it. I did have players at the Lars Auchinleck game, so I do know how it went.
All right, okay, well, you can tell us about it. Auchinleck, congratulations to them picking up the West of Scotland Cup. If you were at the game and you're watching just now, give us your thoughts on the game. We'd love to hear them. But what did you hear, Sean? To me, it just looks like Auchinleck doing what Auchinleck do, getting to a final, keeping a clean sheet and winning 2-0.
That's exactly what I heard. It was Lars had maybe a bit of the better of the ball. Maybe just didn't have the end product, and the Talbot did what they did, and they won a big game of football. Maybe quite percentage football, got them up the park, and I said, if you want to talk percentages, Tucker's percentage of winning in finals is the biggest one. So credit to Auchinleck. I'm delighted for obviously Tucker and Mick Wardrop is a pal of mine. On the other hand, I'm gutted for Arnie and Will Shaw is another pal of mine. But Auchinleck doing what Auchinleck do and getting a big win in a big game.
Mm-hmm. How do you think Arnie will get the boys to bounce back after losing a final and then going into, I know it's a bit away, 18th of May, the massive Scottish Cup semi, where they're in a really good position? What do you think he'll be doing to make sure that they bounce back and this doesn't linger?
It's just one of the ones. There's still a lot to play for. So, if you feel sorry for yourself, you can blow everything. But as you say, they're in a good position. Arnie's brilliant. The job he's done up there is incredible. And obviously the league sort of started a wee bit recently. I know we've got a couple of games in hand, but to be in the cups at this stage, obviously losing against Auchinleck today, but good first leg against Johnson Borough. But there's no doubt Arnie will have them switched on, ready to go, and he'll bounce back. They're allowed to hurt about this just now, but you just need to put it away and then look forward to the games coming up. And the simple thing is, I know it's the semi-final and that's a wee bit away, but if you want to play in it, you need to play well in the league games before then. You can't take a couple of weeks off and then say, right, put me in for this one now.
Mm-hmm. Aye, definitely. And I think it's sometimes, I don't know about you if you agree with this, but sometimes it's sorer to lose a semi than it is to actually lose a final.
I've lost both and never enjoyed either of them.
No. You know what I mean? Because nobody remembers the semi. Like who did? I can't remember who Auchinleck beat in the semis of the West. I can't remember who Largs beat in the semis of the West. But nobody remembers the beating semi-finalist.
It's cool saying it, but it doesn't matter. You don't matter. It's easier saying. See, you went to a semi-final. Well done. Like, it's kind of one of the ones, and that's cool saying it. And I don't mean to be. This isn't an Ardeer manager sitting slating teams that get beat in semi-finals. Trust me, it's no saying that. But Thomas Sloan doesn't talk about any semi-finals he get beaten, and he wants to go and win finals and things like that. So to be a winner, that's what you're looking to do, isn't it?
Aye, and whoever you are that get beat in the semi-finals, then Sean Kenney says you're rubbish. So you don't matter. So I've got a wee comment here for Cycling Chainsaw Chat, which says scrappy game. Referee thought it was all about him. Poor referees, they get a hard time in this channel, don't they? and we've got one that helps us out.
Cycling chainsaw chat. I hope he's not doing that at the same time.
I know. Joe's on the he contributes quite a lot to the chat, which is great. And I think every single guest has said they hope he doesn't do that at the same time. But as the referee gets involved, and he needs to get involved. But on the flip side, Auchinleck, it's just every day I've been part of conversations this year. We were talking about them being in transition and changing away from the kind of old guard, if you like, and having a bit of a down season. But at the end of the day, they're still walking away with a cup in their cabinet, so it's not all bad, is it?
And if you look at the league position, it's not terrible. I know it's no Auchinleck standards, but as I say, there's a big transition going on just now. So that doesn't mean that you bring in a new group and they go straight back to where the old group were finished and things like that. It's going to take a wee bit of time, but it's not been a disaster the way people kind of make out a wee bit. And it's mental. People love to write Talbot off. Then
I think we've been waiting for them to drop off for like the last 15 years. You know, that's probably why. But if they win their games in hand, they go second in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's one of those things where if they have a wee stutter, then everybody kind of seems to just jump on it, say, "Oh, it's done, Tucker's finished," you know, all that kind of thing. But he knows what he's doing. You know, you can't question that at all. He knows what he's doing, and he's obviously identified these players to go and sign and recognise that it's going to take them a bit of time. And now that they're all seem to be coming together, it's clicking into place. So next year could be one to watch, definitely.
And I'm sure the guy who cares least about everybody writing him off is Tommy Sloan. As you say, he knows what he's doing, and I don't think the noise is going to get to him.
No, I very much doubt it. But congratulations to Auchinleck, another cup for them, and commiserations to Largs. So onto the Scottish Cup, we spoke a wee bit about Largs and Johnston Borough in the other semi-final. In the other semi-final, Trinent beat Drumchapel 3-1. Drumchapel fell behind really early, I think after 3 minutes, and then get a man sent off after 15, and then get a further man sent off later on in the game. So do you think Adam Holtz, the Drumchapel manager, will be looking at that as not actually too bad when he sits back and looks at what happened?
So I watched the goals and things like that, you know, and it's see for the way the game went, it's kind of a weird one. You touched on there, Johnny. Maybe go take 3-1, get us down the road for this return leg. Trinent are obviously a good team, and it's always going to be a difficult tie. So you don't want to make things more difficult for yourself, and they kind of done that today a wee bit. But it's not done. 3-1. You know, it would be it's going to be a big effort for them. But Drumchapel have got quality players as well, so the tie's not over definitely. As you said, get them in 3-1, 29 men, take that, get him, and we'll look to the next leg, the next tie. Sorry. Yeah,
obviously be a blow for them. I would imagine those two boys will probably be suspended for this coming week, and the tie is at Clydebank's Park, at home park, instead of the Donald Dewar. Do you think that will have an effect on Drumchapel? And it's a similar, I suppose, it's an AstroTurf surface, so it should be pretty similar, but it's no home, if that makes sense.
I think the biggest thing will be the players missing. You know, I think that's what the guys up there will be gutted about a wee bit more. But, you know, semi-final, going to Drumchapel, you know, it's a good place to play football as well. So, you know, you just need to get your mentality right, make it a positive. It's a semi-final, it's a good ground. Rise to the occasion, just do better than how it went today. And, you know, it's kind of one of the ones where, as you say, maybe the way it started, it's an uphill task straight away today. But, you know, get everybody back together, get a plan sorted, and work towards putting it right in the second leg.
And there's loads of midweek games going on, but I'm glad to see that they've got a full week, I think, in between. I don't think they're playing midweek, so that'll be a big benefit for them, because there's midweek games all over the place. So, like, for instance, Johnston Borough, I know Lags have got midweek games as well. But how important is that full week to prepare?
Massive, because I'm guessing they're going to need to change. You know, so there's probably stuff that, you know, you do all the time anyway, but there's stuff that they'll want to work on, or stuff that will probably be, I imagine that's what they're doing right now, is sort of going over what happened today and how do they fix things. And they've seen things about Trinent that, you know, you go and watch teams, but it's when you're up against them, you don't learn any better than actually playing them. So there'll be tweaks and there'll be changes, and obviously they might have to change things with the players that are out now. They'll need to bring in other guys, obviously, but they might have different styles. So it'll be interesting to see, but to have the full week of training is going to be a big plus for them.
Aye, and good luck to them, Chapel, next week. We'll be covering that on the show. I'm sure they can go and do it. Fingers crossed that they can. Yep, absolutely. From a West point of view, if MD's watching from the East, I'd be really surprised if MD from the East, from the Lowland League's watching WOSFL Weekly. But if you are, hello, thanks, welcome along. Okay, we're going to the Premier League. Yesterday, obviously, we know Clydebank have wrapped up the league title. It's looking like they're going to be playing Musselburgh in the playoff. Musselburgh beat Hillabeath, who are sitting in second, so they beat them yesterday to go, I think, 7 points clear. Hillabeath will get a game in hand, so I'd be pretty sure it's going to be Musselburgh, but they'll just keep ticking along. But I suppose all the action's down the bottom. I was lucky enough to be up at Darvel against Benburb. I went and took that one in, which was great. I really enjoyed it, actually. Do you know, it's the first time I've been up to Darvel since it's all been changed and done up. And I remember what it was like. I remember getting shouted at for walking across the park in a pair of trainers because I was going to get the game called off because the park was that bad, walking across in my pair of trainers. And John Redmond actually tried to fight the guy for me on my behalf. So that was an interesting. So I remember back in the dark days, but night and day now. I was really impressed with Darvel. I don't know if you've seen them this year, Sean, but I was really impressed with them on the day. I thought they fully deserved their win. And if they've played like that all season, it's no wonder that Michael Oliver is frustrated at them being at the bottom end of the table, because I was impressed with them.
I've not seen Darvel this year. Obviously, I was playing and not really had a chance, but we've come up against Michael's teams before, with Ashfield, and I was really impressed. The job he did at Ashfield was great. I come through Ardeer with Ashfield when it was Dark. It was there, obviously, with Maxi. They were a good team, but Michael took them to that next level. So I'm not surprised that when they've went, they played good football as well. And then he's went to Darvel. For me, it was a good appointment. And you know, when you watch his interviews and see how things are going, there's a lot of frustration after the games, I think, because it's maybe just no getting what they deserve in his eyes. So I don't think it's been a case of they've been terrible all season, and obviously they've had difficulties with deduction and that as well. But I think they're definitely all going in the same direction. You know, they're definitely not flung on the towel, and you know, they're not by yet. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not, and I think they've obviously got Benburb to play again. How much of a psychological boost does yesterday give them going into that game? I know they've got Clydebank next week, but then they play Benburb. Be a massive boost.
Aye, and you know, it's weird how this kind of happens sometimes in football when you end up with 2 games like that. And so a lot of the time, though, the team that wins the first, I see it. You don't win 2 of them sometimes. You know, it's a strange thing. I don't know, it's mindset or what it is. So again, it's that. I'm sure the guys at Benburb are saying, right, well, here's where we went wrong, and here's where we can get at Darvel again and fix things like that. That's our job. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. But as I say, I went against Michael and really impressed with him. So I'm kind of hoping they do it as well and they do stay up.
Mm-hmm. Shots are, speaking of managers tearing their hair out, Shots are now unbeaten in 5, but they'll get 4 draws in that time. And I think at least 2 of them, I think Hurlford scored late on yesterday. I know Cumnock scored late on to snatch a draw as well. It's just about recognising that these points are valuable when you're down the bottom, and no worrying too much that, we could have had 3 or we could have had this. You know, it's just about dealing with what you've got into it.
It's another point towards the target and the target staying up. So that's how you need to. You can't feel sorry for yourself at this stage. You need to keep positive. The management team at Shots have been unbelievable. By the way, they've been, what a job they have done. We played them 2 years ago. It went to penalties. They beat us at penalties, but really impressed with them. And then they've just kept going and going. I don't know. It's just as if they're always unfancied. But last year was brilliant, and then you know that can be a sore one yesterday with a late goal. But it's just you need to get a mindset sorted. Here's the next step. Here's the next point to where we want to be, and we just need to keep going.
I know, and I think they play Benburb at home on Saturday, which will be a massive game. And I think what else stands Shotts in really good stead is their goal difference, because their goal difference is miles better than the teams round about them. So that's almost like an extra point. So they're now sitting 3 points above Benburb, 4 above Darvel, and 5 above Gartcairn. But that goal difference, although Gartcairn have got a better goal difference, but they're in a bit of a false position due to deduction. But with the other two teams, having that goal difference will be a real positive, because it's almost like an extra point, isn't it?
Aye, definitely. Again, it is a big gap. It's like 14 difference or something like that. But the bottom line is the guys at Shotts will be saying that it's in their hands. And at this stage of the season, that's what you want. Do you want to stay up, go and win your games? That's all you need. I'm not saying that's all you need to do. If it was that easy, they would have been in that position. But you're not playing for snookers. You just go and win.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Benburb are the same. It's going to be a really interesting end to the season, because all the teams round about are all playing each other. So we've got Benburb playing Shotts and Darvel still to play in 2 games against Johnston Borough. So it's really there for whatever team wants to stay in. Whatever team wants to stay in the league out of the 4 that are contesting it has got it in their hands. They just need to go and do it, which is, as we know, easier said than done.
It's there's a lot of. This is when management comes into it a lot of the time as well, John. You know that as well. When you need to keep quite calm about the situation. It's in your hands. Go and get the job done. But as you've said, there's 3 managers saying the same thing there. So it's just going to be the best team will stay up at the 3.
Aye. If only we could get all 11 players to do the same thing, or to do what they're told, then we'd be all right, wouldn't we?
Even Hawthorne would be all right sometimes.
I tell you what was really interesting as well yesterday. I don't know if Michael Oliver's suspended. I don't think he is, but he watched the game for like a gantry up above the dressing room, which was really interesting. I've never seen that before. You ever thought about doing that? I know you don't have I don't know if would that be safe at Ardeer, but
I've got a wee bit of scaffolding lying about somewhere.
Well, that's what it was like. I think it's where they would probably film it if there was a film, if there was somebody filming the games. But it's interesting them taking a different vantage point from up there.
I got asked to leave the dugout when we played Glasgow Uni this season by the referee. Obviously, they played Excelsior, so I just went right up the top of the stand and just sat there. And it's a good view. And I always say that to the players as well. If it was about angles, the view you get, and sitting higher up, and you do see things a bit differently. I think Chris Trayton Senior used to sit and stand at Meadow Park,
right?
And John McCall would take it at the side. I think Chris would come down, but I think he liked to do that. Obviously, we don't have, as you said, that luxury. We've got a few steps behind the dugout. I can stand there. What do
you think of that? The benefits of it? Obviously, you can see the picture better, but do you miss being involved? Like, do you? I think there's a funny argument you get all the time with fans talking about managers saying, "Oh, they don't do anything at the side; they just stand there, they just watch." You know what I mean? And I always say to them, it doesn't make a difference to the players whether the manager's jumping about like an idiot or whether he's just standing still. But from a manager's point of view, from your point of view, would you prefer to be down on the touchline involved in it, or maybe take a step back and see what's going on?
I think in my head I see the benefits of being up my stand, but I think I would get itchy feet straight away and want to get back down there. I think I'd maybe last about 5 minutes. But I think it'd be good to have somebody up there, somebody you trust whose opinion you'll take in and they can see things. I definitely think that's something that'd be good doing. Mm-hmm. But I'm a control freak at times, so I think I need to be, just for me, just for my sanity, although people that see me dug might say I don't have any sanity, but I think
it's as well, as a manager as well, it's almost like a responsibility thing as well. You feel responsible for what's happening on the park, so you feel like you have to be front and centre, kind of fronting up, if that makes sense.
Aye, what it's like. It's just there's different ways to come at things, and people will get a good argument one way or the other. See if you're sitting in a stand and you win, you're a genius. See if you're sitting in a stand, you get beat, then what you doing sitting up there? At the end of the day, that's what's always going to come down to it.
Or you try and do the Mourinho and go down the tunnel 5 minutes before half time, and then you can see the goal. You know what I mean? You look like an umpty. So really interesting. Right, okay, we'll go into the first division. Just want to talk a wee bit about Arthurley, Sean. Obviously, Kevin Rutkiewicz getting in there as manager. No time to work on his team on the training ground at all because of the backlog of games. But that's him now 5 wins on the bounce. It's I said before, Colin Riley, when he spoke to Paul Adams on our show, commented on how good a group they are. But how good a job is that by Kevin to get that group motoring and making their way to the top of the league?
So everybody kind of knows that it wasn't a good place when the manager left there, and and there was obviously a lot of stuff going on. So without knowing Kevin getting into anything like that, straight away, you're going to need to lift that change. It's a really strange situation because they're in a great position. Yeah, the stuff off the park has obviously had an effect. So again, it comes down to that. He's going to need to lift guys who are actually in a good position, but I don't doubt they've got loyalty to the ex-manager. And he seems to have done it, and credit to him. Obviously, he's an experienced guy in football. So he's been in and he's definitely got the bounce. But, sometimes just saying a new manager bounce, I don't think that does awfully credit because they were in a good position anyway. They were going well. It wasn't a disaster. I know they maybe had a couple of draws and maybe come off a wee bit. It's going to happen to everybody. So he's been in, he's got the wins. I don't imagine they've done many training sessions at all, and there's not going to be many comings. I think they've maybe got 5 games in.
They play Kilwinning on Monday and St Roch's on Wednesday. That must be a nightmare for a manager. I take it you'll have coached a team that's had to do the old Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. What's it like?
See, it depends. It really does because see if you're set up and it's this stage of the season, what it's like, Johnny. See that now. We'll not reinvent the wheel. We know how we're going to play. We know what we're doing. You'll do tweaks and things like that. So we're just about keeping sharp. I've been with the group all this time, so we're not changing anything. Kevin's going to have his own ideas, so it's going to be difficult to get them across, But listen, he's doing it. So he's getting the results. I'm sure he would like a couple of training sessions, but credit to him. And I think the players will deserve a lot of credit for this as well because, again, yourself, Johnny, it doesn't really. Sometimes the best manager in the world can just not get it. The players to do what he wants, and the athletic players have obviously went with the manager and they're getting the results. And you see that's five wins in a bounce.
5 wins in a bounce, and if they win Monday, Wednesday, they'll go into Saturday top of the table.
I still with a few games in hand.
They'll have played 25, so they'll still have 5 games in hand over. 4 games in hand over Renfrew and 2 in hand over. No, sorry, 1 in hand over Kilwinning because they play Kilwinning on Monday. So, it's incredible to think they could be going into the weekend top of the league.
Aye, we played them in the cup again, beating penalties. We're terrible at penalties, obviously. And it's when you go to Arthurley, I know it's smaller, but it's just one of the brilliant junior grounds into it, and get maybe stand that you do get a wee bit touch up, but it's a good place, and the Arthurley are they're a sleeping giant a wee bit just now, so you're hoping to get back up and they get in the Premier League, and I think that's where they should be.
Mm-hmm. I think if they keep going the way they're going, then I can't see any reason. There's no indications that anything's going to stop them the way that Kevin's got them motoring just now. But you yourself, you can always get these odd results in midweek, these strange ones, especially playing Monday, Wednesday. That Wednesday game, I mean, you've got 48 hours to recover between Saturday. I mean, that would have been a tough game yesterday against Irvine Meadow, and then they've got a massive game against Kilwinning on Monday. It's just, and then St Roch's are up the top end as well, where they've got to go there on Wednesday. It's just, it's a bit hoping that the bodies hold up really more than anything else.
If you want to hear yesterday, I think Irvine Meadow actually played really well. And after they got the win, so that's what it's all about at this stage, isn't it? Just get the points in the bag. So performances are great, but wins are all that matters. And as much as maybe didn't play well, psychologically again, they're saying like, well, we've come here with 3 points and don't really know how we got it, but we got it, and that's massive as well for you. It's sometimes better than a 5-0 win.
Yeah, I heard Jamie McKim, the Irvine Meadow manager, talking to to PG on Saturday Football Live, and he said he thought they played well. So again, it's a compliment to Arthurlie that they're coming away with that victory. Renfrew picking up another 3 points. They'll just keep doing what they're doing. I heard Jimmy Quigley, the Renfrew manager, talking after the game as well, and he was saying that all they can do is just keep winning. They've now got a 3-week gap, I think, between now and the last game of the season against Petershill. And he was talking about trying to get some players back for injury, maybe have a friendly, but it's not an ideal situation having such a gap between now and the last game of the season.
No, and I really do hope it doesn't affect them. Jimmy, again, I feel like I just talk about managers all the time just now, but we were in the leagues coming through a game with Renfrew, and the job that Jimmy's done is unbelievable. When the previous manager left, I think we beat them 7-2, and then Jimmy came in the next game, and they've just really kicked on for there. They've been absolutely brilliant. And, they've lost big players as well, also Kieran Diver and that leaving. But they've just kept going and going and going, and they're sitting top of that league just now. And, it's one of the ones I've got sort of soft spots for Ashfield and Renfrew, because we come through, we compete with each other, and it's I'm really happy for Jimmy, and again, I hope they go and get up there. That'd be a brilliant job.
Mm-hmm. It's just one of those ones where they're just going to have to sit, and it's almost like torture a wee bit, where you've got your games, you've played your games, you've done what you can do, and now you just need to sit and watch and see what happens. I remember when I was at Troon, we were waiting, and I think Saltcoats to beat Maybole or something like that, so that we would get promoted, and it's a horrible feeling relying on other teams, isn't it?
Aye, but it's one of the ones where it can eat you alive, or else you could, you say, right, just focus on us, but you're always looking over there saying like, what's going on, sort of thing. But as Jimmy says, they just need. There's no point looking everywhere else if they're not going to win the last game of the season. So that's what they can focus on. And you need your players to, you can walk about and say, this is rotten that let's say the wrong word there. This is rotten that we need to wait 3 weeks and feel sorry for yourself a bit, but deal with it, and I'm sure that's what Jimmy's message will be. It's not ideal, but you feel sorry for yourself, and then you don't get the 3 points the last game of the season. It's not as if it's going to be an easy game against Petershill, so they need to be bang at it. And the gap, as you'll say, is hopefully to get some players back, and Jimmy will have them ready. I don't doubt that at all.
No. And really, there wasn't much change in the division actually this week. It was a bit of a weird split. So we had all the top 7 won, 8 out of the bottom 9 lost. The outlier, and that was your favourite team, Ashfield, beating Blantyre 3-1. So no much change at the bottom. It's still pretty tight down there, and again, that's going to come down to the wire as well down the bottom end.
Aye. So you're looking at it, and it's obviously Ashfield are away, Blantyre are away, but for Maybole onwards, I think Maybole went, you can maybe even look up to the Winton now. Obviously the Winton have lost the last 5. I think they'll maybe only need one more win though. The Winton, and they'll be all right. At the last 2 games, I don't know who their fixtures are, but I know they've had a lot of injuries just now. But it's really, really tight.
Of just the games played with it, we are drossing into it. Again, they're another team that's going to be sitting, looking at teams round about them that are going to be playing and potentially catching up on them. But I suppose the one kind of thing you say is that teams down the bottom, there's less chance of them probably winning than teams up the top. In Renfrew's case, they play Arthurlie on Saturday actually, so that'll be a big one for them and a massive one for Arthurlie as well. So, but it's funny because you probably look again about 6 weeks ago, you would think Ardrossan would be safe, and then you're thinking, oh, are they? It's just shows how quickly things can change in football at any level. There was,
as you say, a few weeks ago, you're looking at it saying they could maybe keep top 6, and then I do know that they've had a lot of injuries this season. There's a lot of under-20s who are in that make up the squad and things like that. It's a wee bit of a tough time for them just now, but they're still quality players at the moment. And as I say, I think they'll get at least one win at the last 2, and I think that'll do them okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I will see how it turns out. Okay, we move on to the second division. Top 4 all won, so it's kind of as you were up the top end. Whitlets, we'll start with Whitlets, who are sitting top of the league just now. Obviously, the disappointing result last week, getting beat off Lark Call. So it's important for Graham Neal and the boys to bounce back and get the victory yesterday. I think they fell behind as well, so to come back and win would have been really important for them.
Psychologically as well, going down a goal after being beat the week before, that's when you need your leaders to step up and just keep everything calm, just get back to the job that we're here to do. You don't run about panicking and feel sorry for yourself again. It's tune in, back to it, let's just focus, let's just go get the next goal and know that they've done that and they've got a good win. Obviously they're sitting at the top again, but it's really tight up there as well.
It's really tight. Muirkirk scored late on, I think, as far as I remember, to beat Yoker. Although Lanark beating Cambus Lang actually moves Lanark above them on goals scored. They've actually got the exact same goal difference. And Lanark play Muirkirk on Wednesday, so that'll be a cracker.
Aye, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's really exciting. And that's kind of what you're saying to our boys as well. You get to this stage of the season, you're not playing big games. There's plenty of teams not playing for anything just now, and it's boring. Playing big games, go and enjoy it. That's what you're here for. If your mentality's right, then that's what you want to be doing. So, but Lanark as well, they were in our league last year, and they changed their management, and that's honestly what a job that is to get them up there. And I'm not surprised at all, because we played them the last game of this. We played them first game of the season, the last game of the season last year. We drew with them up there. They changed the management, and then we played them last game of the season. And I was so impressed with the way they played. I was really, really impressed. The difference. It was a difficult game, the first game of the season, by the way. That's no disrespect to the previous management team, but just the difference in the way they played in the last game, and it was a bit of dead rubber anyway, but I was still really, really impressed with them. I thought they'd done excellent, and I'm no surprised they've done so well this year either.
I certainly thought a few weeks ago, I thought the top three, the Muirkirk, Neilston, Whitlets, I thought that was pretty set, but then Lanark just kept winning, and then Neilston dropped some points, and Whitlets dropped some points, and Muirkirk had a wee dip in form as well, and as we said, Lanark have just kept winning. So this will be a massive game on Wednesday. If they could beat Muirkirk on Wednesday, Muirkirk still get the games in hand, but it just makes it so much more kind of tense, doesn't it?
Aye, exciting. Lanark had a kind of games like this at the end of last season as well, so I've got the experience of doing this. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes on Wednesday.
Aye, and similarly with Neilston, it was really important for Neilston to get back into winning ways. They had a wee kind of stutter. They were kind of looking as if they were going to falter. I think they had 4 draws on the bounce, and they weren't keeping clean sheets. So winning yesterday 6-0 at home to Cali Locos, it's really just the perfect afternoon. You get a good score, you get a clean sheet, and you get us in second in the table.
It's a statement when that one to say that we're still here, and we're pushing on, and the guys at Neilston feel a lot better now. But again, sit second, go and win your last 2 games. It's exciting. I keep saying it this time. In other leagues, there's a lot of excitement in other leagues just now, and you want to be involved in it. Don't take it for granted. Go and show how good you are, and that's a good challenge to have as a manager and as a player.
Aye, definitely. It's the opportunity to go and get a promotion or go and win a league. It's what we do it for. It's why we all play, because we want those moments, because those are the moments you'll never forget as a person, regardless of how old you were, how old you get, or whatever. I remember talking to John Hughes when he was on a few weeks ago, and he was the night before he'd been at I think it was 30-year anniversary of St. Roch's winning the league, and everybody's still buzzing. It's an unbelievable feeling to go and get that, isn't it? You just want to go and get those moments because they live with you forever. I
think that's the thing that we'll not talk about us just now too much, but when we played Greenock a couple of weeks ago, our squad, the average age was 20. So a lot of the boys haven't done it. And I just really want them to know what that feels like, and what that you're tied for life if you go to achieve something like that. You don't have a choice. You're literally stuck with people now you've done something well with, and that will always be the case. But you don't know till you've done it, and I just really want for the boys to go and experience that, and it's a great thing. You don't forget these things.
Definitely, and down the bottom as well of the league, another massive game on Wednesday. We've got fourth play Les Mahago on Wednesday, which is going to be a big one down the bottom. If Fourth could get a victory there, they could move themselves within a point of Les Mahago, and you're fighting for your life. They managed to get a victory on Saturday, and then if they could go and beat Les Mahago on Wednesday, that would be huge for them in their fight for survival.
Aye, definitely. But you flip it, and Les Mahago are saying if we go and get this win, then we're cutting him away for us. So it's again massive, and it's just you need your mindset right. Les Mahago have obviously only played 25, same as Fourth, so they're still playing against for both teams to play. But you're looking at it would be a massive, psychologically at least, for Les Mahago to go and get the 3 points and just put a wee bit more distance in between them. Although they're probably this league when there's there's a few teams no played as many. I think they're 25, 26, so there's still a few more games to go in this league. So there is time to even catch that gap up as well. But psychologically, it would be a big win for Les Mahago just to put that distance in between them.
These midweek games are great fun, when you're getting into these big games. During the week, you're thinking about it, your work all day, getting nervous, can't eat your lunch, don't know when to eat your dinner because you've got to drive to the game, and then you need to try and find where it is and stuff like that. It's great. It's great fun. I mean, it's why we do it. You're charging up the M77 trying to get to Fourth or Les Mahago for a 7 o'clock kickoff. You wonder why you do it sometimes, but it's because we love it.
It's manic, isn't it? It's just a spell of just craziness, but really, really good craziness.
It's better than being in the house during the week, isn't it? So you're better to get out. Okay, mate, we'll roll on into the third division. So, Sean, talk to us about your season so far, Ardeer.
So far, I said to the boys last week, this has been my most enjoyable season personally, Ardeer. It's been a really, really good ride. We've improved massively on and off the park, but we know we're nowhere near where we want to be yet, and that's something we keep drumming into everybody. I think the boys are a wee bit ahead of where they should be, to be honest. But the effort they've put in, it's just been I've absolutely loved working with them all. The work that they put in, the instruction they take on, this is my best group that I've had at the club. I've had maybe better individual players, but as a unit and as a team, this is the best team I've had at Ardeer. And I say to them, our target was never to get promoted, really. We set a target to be in the running near the end of the season, and they've done that. They're in the running now, so now it's just a case of, are you happy enough just to have been in the running, or are you ready to go and take the next step and just nail this down in the last 2 games, and we'll see. That's it. And the teams that deserve to get promoted will get promoted, and if we fall just short, then that's because other teams are better than us. But we don't slack after, that's for sure. And it's 2 really difficult games coming up, obviously, against Thieves and then Fanat last game of the season. But I get back to the word I keep using. I use it with the boys all the time. Really exciting.
When did you flip that switch for, right, we're in the running, do we want to go and do it then?
To the boys?
Did it just happen organically? Did it just happen organically where you find yourselves up there and you think we could actually do it? Or was there a moment where you thought, right, we've set this aim to be in the running, but I think we could actually go and do it?
The start of the season, we spoke about bringing it down to groups of 6, games of 6 all the time, and we'd look at it then we get to Christmas and you're still on the run at Christmas, and then we just do it that way. But it's like you get closer, and then we were first at one point, and then we were second a wee bit later on in the season, and then we also went in that run of 6 games where we won every week. So then you go, right, we are part of this fight now. So it happened because of the work that the boys had put in and the results, Fitbit's results, and that's what got us in the mix. So we got there, and then obviously we knew we weren't going to go through the season undefeated after, that these 6 games that we won. We knew we weren't going to win every game, but in a weird way, I speak to the boys all the time, reactions and everything, whether it's on the park or whether it's setbacks. I don't want a group of boys who are brilliant when you're winning every week but can't deal with a setback. I want a group of men who can deal with setbacks and get better. And you know, we've started a wee bit the last few weeks, but I think we've won 3 out of 6 or something along those lines. So we're doing all right. You know, we're up against good teams. But the boys have put us in the hunt. We've 2 games to go and we're still very much a part of it. So it's exciting.
I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but I watched your interview last week after the Kilsyth Athletic game, and I found it really interesting and enlightening. You spoke very passionately about defending the players and where they are and where they've kind of came from. What led to that? What was there one individual thing, or did you just feel that everybody needed to recognise where we've been and where we are now, kind of thing? Was it just kind of grating on you, or did it just come out on the moment?
I think it's a bit of everything. One thing I will say is, and I've said this before, I genuinely believe us, and this isn't just part of that I'm putting out there. Our fans are the best fans at this level. They're everywhere. We went to Peterhead and they come in. That was like a home game for us, you know. They're superb, and you know it kind of wasn't the fans that are there every week. These are your loyal fans out there all the time. It wasn't them, and it wasn't a one-off thing. We deserve to be criticised after Kilsyth. I made that clear to the boys. We deserve criticism because we weren't good enough. We actually started the game really well. And sorry if you can hear my Rottweiler in the background.
No, sorry. It's okay, mate. It's okay.
The time a bus comes by, she's the buses. But we'd actually started the game really well against Kilsyth. We get done in a counter-attack. We equalised, and then we lost a soft goal before half-time. We didn't deal with a spell. We had a bad spell, half an hour, like 15 each side at half-time. We didn't deal with that spell well enough. And then maybe we weren't good enough there. That was a big thing. So we deserve criticising. Listen, nobody's harder on us than us in the changing room. But it was just a wee bit, and it wasn't a Kilsyth game. It was just a wee bit before that. You know, we were up 3-0 against Glasgow United. We lose a goal, and then there's a lot of mourning and panicking. And I'm trying to keep the players calm. You know, have to just relax a wee bit. The boys are doing great, but I understand it as well. You know, I think it comes to a place of belief. And the players, it's not just criticism for criticism's sake. It's frustration because people know how good the players are. You know, I think that's where it comes from. And, you know, but I was maybe a bit, obviously I'm a passionate guy and I'm really protective of the players. I'm also protective of the fans as well. And I think it was just, we had to just pull back together a wee bit. And listen, we took the bus up to Kilsyth. If there was the fans were there and had our numbers. And again, it was just that thing of let's just pull in together a wee bit again. You know, like we're not terrible because we lost the game. Same as we won the world beaters last week when we won a game. We just try to keep that balance, and you're always going to get criticised. That's no problem. Criticism isn't an issue. It's just more a case of let's just remember where we are. Let's just remember what these boys are doing for us just now. And I get it, as I say, it comes from the belief in the boys, maybe. That's where the frustration comes from. It's not a personal thing. It's no criticising the boys for criticism's sake. But at the same time, we just need to make sure that, you know, in this run-in, we're all together. Everybody going in the same direction. And it's, but we've you know, as a player, your responsibility is also to give the fans something to cheer about. You know, so it goes two ways. Obviously, it was a bad day. Kilsyth, it wasn't the one I was really buzzing with after it. And I actually blame the social media boy. I think he asked me a question that annoyed me, to be honest. And you can't hear it for the win. So he's getting the blame. He's getting flung under the bus for it.
No, I thought it was, for me, like, and Des Roach and I spoke about it last week. And from my point of view, from the outside looking in, like you've been the best thing that's happened to Ardeer in donkey's years, because I remember where they were before. I remember being in the old district league, and they were a comfortable 3 points every time you come up against them, whether it was home or away. And then you come in and then started to build it and put things in place. And from what it is now to what it was then, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, up your bum. Sorry, apologies. I'm not just blowing smoke, because I think I genuinely believe that, because Ardeer were never competing for anything and know where they are now. So it's great to see the progression. You must be really pleased with the progression on and off the park since you've came to the club. And I know you've signed on to stay till next year as well. But what do you see? Are you just taking it kind of year by year, try and build, or is there a longer term plan in place?
No, we've got a 5-year plan in place. We're year one in that. We're probably this season we're actually ahead on the part where, we probably it wasn't realistic to set this out. Let's be honest, the teams and again, I don't say this to the boys, and no offence, Johnny, but if I'm on this tonight, the boys won't be watching. So I can say it on here. It's nothing to do with you, mate. It's more to do with me. But the teams with the biggest budgets usually win leagues, and the teams with the least budgets are usually down the bottom end. So we should be more down the bottom end. That's why it's that sort of thing of we're ahead. We're going to get there, hopefully, but we're ahead of where we should be just now. But off the park, we have a 5-year plan, but there's going to be a lot of changes at the club over the summer. The place is going to look different. It's going to look a lot better. It's really exciting. It's obviously the 125th anniversary. There was talk.
Are you looking at licenses and stuff like that, or is that a bit up down the road? Or
we're miles away for that, to be honest. Just with the facilities that we have, mate, we're a long way off that. Ideally, that's how I want the club to be, but we do know that that'll take a long time. That's not part of the 5-year plan. That's going to be a lot longer. But everything that we're doing just now is working towards that. But we know that's a long way off. We don't have the money to spend on a lot of stuff like that. What we have done is built where we're sorted is youth academy and things like that. Youth academy is incredible. It's great to see the amount of kids with Ardeer strips and things like that on. We've got, I think, near enough a full quota for the girls up, and we've got a full quota for the boys up as well. So that's something I'm really proud of. That the youth academy guys have done excellent with. So for licensing, that's sorted. But facilities and things like that, we need to upgrade, and we are. That's the thing. We are doing that now in the summer. That's going to happen. But it's one of the things that all that stuff. It's the fans that are doing that. So that's a big thing to make sure we zone back in on. Like, we spoke to the committee, spoke about a new contract. I think I said that we put something out that wasn't in my heart that made that decision. That was my head that made that decision. I'm an ambitious guy, and there was talk from other clubs who are, they're bigger clubs in Ardeer. But I'm here, and people might say, "Aye, very good," but I could have went elsewhere. It's the fans that have kept me here, because the fans are actually brilliant.
Who is it, Sean? Who's coming in trying to poach you? Come on, there's only 50 people watching. Come on.
It's only 50. It's only half from the phone, man. No, the other teams have got managers now, so it wouldn't be right to say that. But it's the fact. I say that to the fans sometimes. Like, why do you think I'm? And again, I don't want that to sound arrogant. Like, why do you think I'm still here? I said there's something really, really special about Ardeer that comes for the people, and that's what I want to be involved in. And I want to do. My motivation is to do really, really well for the people. And when you're close to people, sometimes you fight with them. Mm-hmm. And I'm that kind of guy that'll fight with people sometimes. But they know. I think they know that I'm pulling in their direction. I'm very much well aware that Ardeer's not my club, Ardeer's their club, and I'm here just to do the job for them, and I'm going to do the best job that I can. This is going to be my 5th season coming in now. People might be surprised that I'm only 35, so I've got a plan on going a long time doing this. So I really believe that I can leave a good mark at Ardeer, and I'm in no rush to go anywhere else. As long as, and again, that's where the committee deserves credit so far, the conversation I had with them was, can we take the club forward? And that's not going out and spending millions of pounds and anything like that on players. The budget's not going to change too much because we can't. I'm very much aware of what's there, and our model that we're trying to go through with players and things like that, and what my limits are. I'm very hands-on with everything at the club. But so I wouldn't ask for stuff that's not there. But although my treasurer might fall off her seat when she hears me saying that. But, my job's to try and squeeze as much out of the club as I can, because I want us to go forward. And this is where the committee deserves an awful lot of credit. They've said that everything that I'm looking for is going to happen. It's part of the 5-year plan. It's all right having a 5-year plan. I keep talking about this. So perhaps in year 2, say, we can't do that. The 5-year plan's useless, isn't it? So they have backed up their word. We've got things in place. Just new buildings. We're going to have a new clubhouse and things like that. Just things that are really massive for us down there. Doing the place up, and that's all part of it. But it's a really exciting time. The committee deserve mega credit for the work they've done. Believe it or not, I love the fans. I do. That's why I'm there. They maybe don't love me now. We maybe need to have a wee cuddle in the next home game, but I'm sure we'll be all right.
Oh well, Ardeer's gain, certainly be the Irvine Meadows loss. So anyway, on to yesterday. Great result for you yesterday. Good to bounce back after last week to go into Glasgow Pershore. No an easy place to go and get a 6-9 win. You must have been delighted.
I'm just ignoring your comment. I'm moving on to the game. Yes, yesterday was good, mate. We scored early. We needed to score. Never needed to score early, but we needed to start well, and we did. But actually, after we scored, the game wasn't great. The tempo was quite slow in the game, and that was what I was on. I was like, we need to speed it up. And once we did that, once we moved the ball better, we were really good. Obviously 6-0 is comfortable. We missed a penalty to make it 7. Well done, be Alfie, for that one. We scored some really nice goals. The good thing is we can make changes as well. We made a couple of changes to the starting lineup. Jay came in and done excellent. They played really well for us, and he's a good football player. So that was a big part of it. We had to move the ball nice and sharp, and Jay done that really well when he came in. Clean sheet, 6 different scorers. We made 5 changes, 2 of the subs scored. So it's one of the days. It was good, 3 points, and then we're on to Threave next week.
Yep. And in between, interestingly, talking about Threave, a bit of shock, them losing to Glasgow Uni. But then, weirdly, we're talking about these weird things that pop up. They play them again on Wednesday.
Aye. Well, the Threave one was really strange yesterday, because they were up. I think they were up 2-0 in the second half. They made it 2-0 in the second half, and then obviously they've lost 5-2. So I don't know what's happened there. I did watch all the highlights, but Threave only put the rain goals up, so I couldn't see anything else. But we talk about Threave having to travel. The Glasgow Uni have got to travel down to Threave, so you don't know how that will be. You don't know how the travel will affect them. But Glasgow Uni are a good team as well. It won't be an easy game for Threave, but we'll just need to see how it goes. I think that's 2 good teams that are going to play each other. I think it could be a really good game.
Mm-hmm. Aye, and it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, so at least that gives them a wee bit. I suppose it's one of the good things about Threave having the lights down there. But if I was Threave, I'd be saying let's make it 7 o'clock. Everybody else, you know what I mean? It's not our fault. We can't afford the electricity bill. Get them down here for 7 o'clock, But then they'll maybe want that when they have to go to Lugger and go to Irvine Vicks. So it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? To be honest,
you've got to play the game, haven't you? Really, try and do what you can.
Aye. Your conquerors last week as such, Kilsyth Athletic. I think that was. I know you're saying it wasn't off the back of that game, and I think that was one of the things that I found most surprising, was because Kilsyth Athletic are just motoring at the minute and just absolutely flying.
Aye, I spoke to Bailey, and I say we spoke about obviously his announcement, and it's that thing we spoke about when you sit. If Bailey announces that he's leaving and then they don't win, then why have you said that just now? Bailey announced he's leaving, and I've went in this run, and Bailey's a genius. So but they deserve credit. They're a good team, Kilsyth. They really are. And people can talk all they want, but we build things up, and we maybe got to come away from the fact they're a good team if you beat teams, and they're just beating everybody now. They beat Thorn, they beat us, they beat Greenock. So this run that they're on is the teams that are up. I know they beat Wishaw yesterday. Was it Wishaw?
Yep. Wishaw's doing nothing. Yep.
But majority of that run has been against teams that they're competing with. So when they beat us, I says to Bailey, that was then promoted. He never agreed, obviously, but they deserve it. That run that they've went on, and again, obviously we all need to play each other at some point, but they had a right difficult run and they've smashed it.
Mm-hmm. Aye, and talking about Thorn, we should say as well, congratulations to everybody at Thorn winning the league. It's a great achievement for them to come up from the league below and go on and win the league. They've been really impressive this year. I know I was impressed with them when I was still at Lugar, and I'm sure you have been as well.
Aye, best team in the league, and they deserve a lot of credit for it. And it's not just the best team; they've run away with it, and they've been out there for a while. And it's that thing where you can maybe ease off a wee bit. I know we beat them up there and Kilsyth as well, but they've been so consistent through the full season, and that's what's real. Johnny, you know what I mean. Like the boring football guys, you'll see consistency is brilliant. You can go and beat teams. That's something that frustrates me at times. We've maybe known as being consistent, but for Thorn of the consistencies, I love consistency, and they deserve mega credit for that. That's how they're champion.
It's just about knowing you can rely on your players to go and do what you're expecting them to do every week is a luxury that not a lot of managers get. But when you do get it, there's like an amazing feeling as a coach or a manager where these boys that I'm going to put in a part know exactly what they're going to do and how to do it. It's just a great feeling. And
again, see, I speak to my boys about sort of people that know football see things differently. So you can just look at it like you say, I thought they've just won the league and they've run away with it. So much goes into that. So much work for a full year, actually for longer than that. And I know they've swapped their manager, but they've kind of kept it in-house as well with the promotions to the manager's job and things like that. So it's been that consistency. It's been that plan for a couple of years that they've built on, and a lot of hard work's went into that. And that's what sometimes people forget. It's great, glamorous, you lift a trophy, but there's been a lot of graft. I guarantee there's been a lot of fallouts. There's been a lot of times when they've doubted, and it's all right saying they're winning, but you maybe think, you always doubt yourself at times. There's always things that happen, but you show that mental strength and you go like, no, let's kick back on, and that's what they've done brilliant. It's all that side of things that I love, and Thorn have nailed every single bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And down the bottom, Vale leaving drop into the relegation places. Just to be mentioned to my good friend and friend of the show, Dean Keenan. That's his Girvan side, safe now, and I think Sean coming in as a new manager, it's to get that. I heard him talking to PG after the game where he said that the committee had never put any pressure on him in terms of what the expectations were of keeping the team in the league and stuff like that, but it must just be a way off to come in, keep the team in the league, and then you can build for next year.
We both know Dino, and I know he's saying it came out never put any pressure on him, but he will put pressure on himself. So I'm delighted for him. He's a great guy. It's weird. Dean's come in, that's his first job. It's kind of a safe pair of hands. That's never a case with a first manager. Obviously, he's been at it a long time, but you kind of know Dean's going to take to it well. It wasn't that much of a gamble, I don't think. But he would have put a lot of pressure on himself, whether he let MDL see it. But I know for a fact, to him, he sets his own standards. And I don't know what he's talking about, how we could be twins, by the way. I don't know where that comment's
brothers, he says. I think he said brothers. So.
Well, you're obviously an older brother, but...
Aye.
Congratulations.
Got the hard paper rounds, to be fair.
Definitely, I'll give you that one. I know that he's looking young and fresh, by the way.
I know. So great for Dean. And then Glasgow United getting a well-needed victory gets them out the relegation spots. They've got those games in hand, but they just won the winning games. But they've managed to get a good victory against Fanat yesterday to get themselves out those dreaded bottom three places.
Aye, and I kind of touched on it with Winton, and obviously Glasgow United have got more games to play than Winton, but the quality of players that they have got, they'll have enough, I think, to get away. They'll get the job done, and then they'll just put a season behind them, I think. But I think they'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that'll be interesting again. See, how it turns out. Okay, Sean, we'll move into the last but not least, the 4th division, where it's more twists and turns at the top of the league, with Knightswood winning and Port Glasgow dropping points away at New Mains. How do you see that playing out towards the end of the season? I'll tell you, I've been flip-flopping all over the place. Honestly, my bum's sore because I've been sitting on the fence that much trying to pick who I think is going to win this. And I did look at it and think that Port Glasgow did have the more difficult running, which made me favour Knightswood. But then I was thinking Port Glasgow have the experience to manage that. So then I was maybe leaning towards Port Glasgow. So who knows? Who knows? What do you think?
I think Knightswood have got a wee bit of experience in there as well, with some of the boys they've got. I think they'll win it. I think it's an easy call for me. If I was on last weekend, I might have been sitting on the fence with you. But I think just the way the weekends went, it's maybe too close to the end for slip-ups now, you know. And I think Knightswood winning comprehensively. I think they'll have enough to get them over the line. But by the way, and I've got to say it as well, the job the guys at Port Glasgow have done. I know they got relegated last year. It was really tight. I think when they went in, they were they looked away. Also, they were in the league last year. But they've really got them together again, and they've kicked on this year. And I know they'll no be satisfied probably by not winning the league, because obviously they're in the run. But it's a good season for them, and I'm glad they've come up. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. I'm kind of hoping it's looking like Kalo as well now. I'm glad that Kalo are probably going to come up as well.
Yeah, me too. That's them now. 4 clear with 2 in hand over Easterhouse below them. So they're looking. They're one ahead of Easterhouse. Sorry, with 2 games in hand. So they're looking pretty nailed on. And Knightswood have got another one of these strange situations where they've got Eglinton away and then at home to play. So that will be really interesting. Whereas Port Glasgow go to Rossvale with a disappointing result yesterday away, and then they play St Peters at home. So it's probably still going to come down to the last game of the season, probably, which is great for us as neutrals watching it. And it'll be interesting. Seeing as Michael Penders has been on the show, friend of the show. If Tam Jameson comes on the show, I'll maybe side with them, but I'll say that Knightswood will probably do it. And I think I might go to that game at the weekend, maybe Eglinton away at Knightswood. It's either going to be Eglinton, Knightswood, or Ardeer Threave. I don't know. We'll see what one PG wants me to go, what one they're featuring. But that's definitely in consideration, popping up to Stevenson.
You're more than welcome, mate. £6 again.
Hey, I've paid to get into every game I've been at this year, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because that's what it's all about, supporting these clubs. Do you know what I mean? You definitely need to pay your way. But it'll be a really interesting run. And like you, I hope Greg Gallagher Kello gets that job done, because again, getting relegated last year, coming straight back up, I think would be a massive achievement for them and Port Glasgow. And then Knightswood going on to win the league would just be fine for me. I don't know about you. That sound all right?
Aye. And again, it goes back to that of does it just happen? We spoke about Thorn building that, but you know, obviously the guys at Port and Kello, it's a difficult season they had last year. So to put things right, get the club back on the up, they deserve a massive amount of credit for that.
I know, and to go to St Peters as well yesterday for Kello and win 3-0. I mean, that's a really, really good result, because St Peters, I know they've lost a couple recently, but they were on something like an 8-9 game unbeaten run. It's not easy to go over to Renfrew and beat them. So to go over there and win 3-0 is a real strong statement. And I think they lost last week. They could be off Port Glasgow at home last week. So again, you're up the top end of the table. You're maybe a bit nervous. You lose last week. You've got to go to St Peters. That's a big win on that, or you taking those things into consideration.
Aye, definitely. You know, it's one of the ones that getting to this stage of the season, you can't lose 2 in a row. You need to bounce back. And again, as you say, 3-0, comprehensive against a good team. St Peters, we played them pre-season, and I was impressed with them. And I've kept my eye on the results as well. And you know, there's probably a wee bit of frustration there for them as well at times, but they know that they can build again next year at St Peters, and I think they'll be more challenging up the top next season.
Aye, absolutely. Okay, mate, that'll wrap us up with the fixtures for the weekend and all the kind of news and bits and bobs. Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for giving us your time on a Sunday evening to join me.
No, thanks for having me, Johnny.
No, it's been great finding out a wee bit more about plans for Ardeer, and talking over all the weekend's news and games. Just a wee reminder for everybody watching, you can rewatch this on YouTube. It should be available on audio format on all podcast networks. If you're watching the video, if you could like it and subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated. And check out all the other videos that we have on the Pyramid Promotions YouTube channel as well. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, engaging. Your comments are always much appreciated. Thanks for joining us. This weekend, 155 goals in 38 games. Sean, averages just almost exactly 4 goals per game in the West of Scotland Football League. So like I always say, if you're looking for entertainment on a Saturday, dig out a tenner, go and find your local West of Scotland Football League team and give them your support, because I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Until next week, I've been your host, Jonny Baillie. I've been joined by Sean Kenney. Thanks very much, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Cheers.